going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Do some quick stuff here tonight. It's just been one of those days where you're doing the thing. We're still trying to get the studio ready. Stuff didn't come in. It's just Charlie and I this weekend, my little one. And so it's just been one of those days, but better than what's going on in Gaza. And you know what's interesting? So I always come straight out with it because I'm no bullshit kind of guy. The fact that you can't criticize the leaders of Israel is insane. And this hero worship I'm a Christian, right? Period, case closed. That's what I am, first and foremost. Then I'm a father and a husband. And then I do all this other stuff. But this insane world that we find ourselves in, where we as a nation are somehow supporting this absolute destruction of an area. And look, I don't have all the answers. And I'm not even going to pretend like I know so much of the history that's gone back and forth. And I'm not here to stick up for Hamas. Fuck that. That's not what I'm about. Sorry, it didn't happen. But I see innocence and I see people dying. And whether it's in, stuff goes on in Africa. Do we pay much attention to it? No, we don't see it. That's the truth. We don't. Stuff goes on in several places that we don't see, but we're getting a firsthand look at something and we're participating in ways that we are as complicit as anybody. It is, we are helping. And it's bullshit. It is. Israel has every right to defend themselves. Israel has every right. Hamas is not good. Nobody is claiming that. But Bibi Netanyahu, sorry. I get attacked on a daily basis whenever I even bring something up. It's a lie, Chad. It's because you hate the Jews. I'm like, okay. So they're above criticism? It's just it? They're above any criticism? Wrong. As a human being, I see what's going on. I'm not an idiot. I'm not a fool. I get attacked every day, and I don't give a shit because I'm going to say what's right. I'm going to be honest about it. And this is the reality. This is bullshit. This is absolute crap. And as a Christian, I sit here and I get called all kinds of stuff by other Christians who, they have this thinking, this is it, right? Like we're doing all this and we're going to have the red heifers or we're going to do all this stuff and it's going to be great. We're going to help it along and it's going to be awesome. It's Old Testament, New Testament, right? We could sit here and talk about, the Bible all day about this. It's also, we're supposed to be peacemakers. We're making peace. We're turning a blind eye to absolute horseshit. And then we're being gaslit by our country and led around by Israel. And this has nothing to do with the Israeli people. And so whenever it's like, you just hate the Jews in Israel, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. It's bullshit if you think that. But I can be honest and say, I see some shit going down. And that looks like an atrocity, genocide, whatever you want to call it. What they did on October 7th was brutal. It was awful. It was vile and disgusting. Nobody is arguing that. But at what point do you say, okay, how many times you have to curb stomp somebody? Because that's what it feels like. And we're being told every day, no. Don't you even dare bring that up. No. This isn't right. This isn't right at all. Period. Sorry. And it's frustrating. It is, because, trying to point out to people, and I got a great email from somebody last night. He said, well, what if your neighbor came over and raped and killed your kids and, all that stuff? I said, okay. If we're going to do that analogy, I said, how about this one? What if I walled my neighbor up and my other neighbors also walled over their sides? I allowed them to get some electricity every now and then. Maybe every now and then I allowed that person to get some food, right? And live somewhat in peace. And then every now and then I would take away the electricity and I would take away their water. I would tell them when he could or couldn't leave the house, where he could and couldn't go. And oh, by the way, at any given time, I might go out to his front yard or his garage and take it and give it to my mom. Hamas is awful. But thinking you're going to kill your way out of this isn't going to happen. And this is where the rest of the world finally has to also stand up and say, all right, here's the deal. This shit has to stop. There needs to be a two-state solution, and it's going to take time. There's going to be a collective group of people that are going to help run the country while they bring it back. So they have dignity and freedom and hope, which is, again, we're not talking about Hamas. I have a 7-year-old. She'll be 7 next month. Well, this month, oh my God. I see little kids over there and I think, I couldn't even fucking imagine that. Couldn't. So enough with the you don't like the Jews or you don't, hey, enough of that. Enough of that. Enough of these Christians out there who are all about this is the second coming and we could really do it. And Jesus told me in the Chronicles of Narnia, Ted Cruz or whatever bullshit he said, says like in like one of the pages, like we should be totally good stuff to the, to Israel and stuff. Cause like, it'll be awesome. Yeah, that was the Old Testament. What about the New Testament? Right? Our faith is based on Jesus. Ask them what they think of that. So enough of this crap. We can be human beings. We can. And look and say, this isn't right. This isn't right. And we're going to have to take a different kind of step, the world is, to fix some of this. But stop blowing smoke up everybody's ass, okay? Enough is enough. We move on from there. That rant is over. Into, this is interesting. So earlier tonight, Trump, before he did the Purple Heart thing, Stephen Moore's with the Heritage Foundation, they came out to deliver new charts about job creation and whatnot. This is interesting.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. We're going to have just a quick session with Steve Moore. Everybody knows Steve Moore with the Heritage Foundation, highly respected, one of the most highly respected economists and people that watch your money and know more about your money and your life than probably anybody I can think of. And I want to thank Steve for being here. I saw this today. They came out. What he puts out gets a lot of coverage, and I saw some of them, and then he had a couple of others. And I'd like to ask Steve maybe to discuss a few of these numbers that were just released. I mean, literally just released. And then we're going over and we're going to do Purple Heart. We have some incredible, brave people that I look forward to. So we're going to do that right after this. Steve, could you say a few words about the various charts?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I called the president because I had some very good news from some new data that we've been able to put together that no one.
New data. Nobody's ever seen it before. Totally new data Found it in the back. We have some red tape, and we got some good stuff. These are charts. We're going to show you the new data. It's going to be fantastic.
And I'll just very quickly go through these. So I was telling the president that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs. Mr. President, that's a gigantic error. And I don't know if I'm not.
It might not have been an error. That's the bad part. If it was an error, it would be one thing. I don't think it's an error. I think they did it purposely.
Whether that, you may well be right, but even if it wasn't purposefully, it's incompetence.
Right.
Okay. So 1.5 million jobs overestimated. We have access to.
Just the hilarity of we got new stuff. And I don't think Steve wants to throw it under the bus. And by the way, this is a snapshot of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We joked about jobs the other night. It's ridiculous. Employers fill stuff out. Sometimes they get the data back. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you get, and for the last several years, the people filling out the data, it's been going down, 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 down. So you may get it today, and you needed it today. And then some of the other stuff you need, you get it next week. And then what happens is they have to go out and just kind of go, okay, based on this, we're going to have to try to figure this out and kind of make a guesstimation of it. And it's a nightmare. And under Trump, his first term, they revised all the time because that's what you do. It's not based on somebody's doing something horrible to you or any of that stuff. It's based on the fact that you're dealing with an old, antiquated system that, the one thing Doge has showed us is if they could still use carrier pigeons, they would. It's a joke. And I hope they find somebody independent so people will believe that. I hope they do. Because even, when I saw this today, it was on actually somebody who's very pro-Trump, like Twitter. And the comments were, yeah, nobody buys it, stop lying. And there were a lot of Trump people there who look and say, you didn't like the messenger. And I get it. You missed big. You missed an awful miss. But she wasn't the only one. She wasn't some woman in there, in a room with an abacus doing this. She gets delivered stuff. It's the way it is. And not everybody's out to get you all the time. They weren't. And it's frustrating because I just give it to me straight. All right. I don't need a story all the time of how somebody wronged you. I don't need a story every time about this or that. Just there's the numbers. This is what happened. We swung and missed. It is what it is. And it's frustrating. Very much so. But those are new numbers. So let you guys know. It's like when they were talking about, what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what I call her. Put an S in there. I'm going to say it. But she's already told everybody at the Department of Justice, Trump's not in any of these things. Yeah, we know. We expected that. I could have told you that before they ever talked to you, that you were going to say that because he's got the get out of jail free card. And again, I've said him, Clinton, I don't think they did anything. It's just stop being so predictable. One of the other things I want to talk about real quick is the redistricting, which is a funny thing. We ran a whole bunch of different kind of, we ran it through ChatGPT and OpenAI and about 12 other things and compiled some data about, okay, the redistricting thing is insane. So Texas has the right to do what they're doing. They're going to go and do it. And okay, fine. And then, of course, you got New York and, everybody else, they're all going to do it. And, you got James Carville going, I got a great idea. Big DC and Puerto Rico. And then, we have to say to ourselves, stop it. Stop allowing these men and women who have decided now that we're not picking them. They're picking us. Oh, you might vote for me. I'll take you. And you will vote for me. I'll take you. Oh, you won't vote for me. I don't want that. So we'll move that over there. That's what goes on. And both sides do it, and it's bullshit. So we ran through, again, we did some modeling and had some fun with it. If we redrew every single district in the country, so the states would go through them, and as fair as possible. So, keeping with the Voter Rights Act and trying to do it based on population and, contiguous, it's not like you don't get to jump 9 blocks and then, oh, that's also my district. No, this is what it is. Currently, it's, I think, 219 to 212. There's been some retirement, stuff like that. If we were to do this in all 50 states, it's about having representation for everybody. And that includes the rural to the urban, to the suburban, to the cities, everybody. We're all, and again, we're not trying to, what we're trying to do is, what can we do to make it so our politicians have to work for us, have to try to win our votes over and over again by actually doing things they're supposed to, and really what you were supposed to be sent to, whether the state capital, DC, whatever it is, which is work for the people. That's it. And make things competitive. So if you're not working, you don't have to, because nowadays, it's like nobody's worried. And we've gotten to the point now where primary is the most important thing. Don't even worry about the general election in most of the states. You don't have to worry about it. Primaries are it. I'm here in Tennessee. What do I know is going to happen? You got John Rose and Marsha. They're running to be governor of Tennessee. It's Marsha Blackburn, John Rose. I couldn't tell you who the Democrats are, but I do know this. Whoever wins that primary is going to be the next governor. That's it. The other, it doesn't matter what the general is. And that allows the extremes and all of this stuff. We're the exhausted majority, and I use the word the majority because that's what it should be. Let's pick them rather than pick us. So we read through it. As of now, again, slim margin. So the way it would break down currently, Texas. So a fair map would add 3 to 5 seats probably for the Democrats. Florida would probably add 4 seats for the Democrats. North Carolina, which already had a court order redraws in favor of the GOP. But a fair map. And again, we're going by no tentacles, no special, U-turns and squiggly lines. It's North Carolina, 2 to 4. Georgia, Ohio, Tennessee, 1 to 2. And for the Republicans, they would see opportunities to pick up 2 in Illinois, 1 in Maryland, at least, probably 2 in New York. And that would leave up to 10 competitive, up for grabs, toss-ups. But the Democrats would have 222 to 227, the Republicans 28 to 213. But here's the thing. Everybody's like, 80 districts would become competitive. 80. That right there is awesome. And I think we need more of that. We would trust it more. We wouldn't feel like our votes didn't matter in certain places. When I lived in California, I knew my vote didn't matter for anything. I knew it didn't matter. You could have given me 10 votes and it wouldn't matter. It's about, like Illinois is a perfect example, or Massachusetts, where there is no representation for Republicans. I think they have 5 at the state level, Congress. None at the federal. I think all 9 are, all 9 are Democrats, and both senators are Democrats, and the entire, everything, the governor all the way down, all state. They have no statewide offices at all. And I think they had 38 or 40% of people in Massachusetts were Republican. So think about that. You have a state where you have 0 representation. That's not the way it was supposed to be. It's not. Zero chance that's the way they drew it up. And why is that? Because these guys and gals play games. Remember, it's about protecting their fiefdom, and they do that by choosing us not choosing them. And finally tonight, I want to jump to this. And it's not to pick on this girl. I just want to, because, you know, she's dramatic. I'm not going to lie to you. But I could pick 100 of these. The student debt bomb that's coming. Well, it's already here. Young adult milestones have fallen off the cliff. By 26, half of Americans in 1970 married, home ownership, kids. Now I think it's down like 15%. The amount of debt that kids have, not understanding how things would probably work, thinking they were going to come out and get a job that was going to be over the moon. But also when you hear some of the rates that these young men and women are paying, it's insane. It is. And it's going to live with them forever. And we're $1.7 to $1.8 trillion student debt. That's nuts. And I hear people say, well, Chad, I went to school in the 70s and I worked for 2 weeks in the summer and I was able to pay for my master's degree, whack stuff like that. It's not that way anymore. It has risen in ways you could not even believe. If you go to a private school now, so you go to a private school, and this is crazy. So you go to a private college today based on the average income. So would be 57% of your income for a year. Tuition. That's insane. That is incredible. So in 1970, which is the boomers really started as far as the college, the GI Bill and all that kind of stuff. Gen X, we were the first one like that. And then, you know, millennials, the most, followed by Gen Z, but Gen Z is very disgruntled, as they should be. Even, you know, you look at this and you're thinking, like at a state school in 1970, it was 4% of the income of the medium household. That's it. To go to a state school. It'd be, in today's dollars, again, private school. Even if you went to private school in 1970, it's only 18% of your income. 57% now. And with the rates, people are finding out, wait a minute, I owe this? I've been paying for how long? And now I owe more?
So as it turns out, the student loans that I've been paying $1,500 a month for 2 years have a 17% interest rate. So what I thought I've been paying off for all this time, I'm actually, I owe more than what I started off with. What the fuck? So Jeff Bezos, this would be a really cool fucking time to Venmo me, bro. I owe $90,000 and I didn't even spend that much on school. Any rich person, please tap in. Kourtney Kardashian, you probably have 8 houses. I'm never gonna be able to buy one because I went to college. I just signed up to be an egg donor. Guess what? Got approved. Who wants my fucking kids? I can't afford them, so start a bidding more. Just fucking take them. What do you want? My left arm too? What the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm gonna be in debt for my whole fucking life. How does that even make sense? I signed up for this shit when I was 17. This should not be legal, bro. I got upset about it at work, and my coworker was like, don't you have, a rich relative who can pay that for you? No! My family's poor! No! And the worst fucking part is, bro, look where I am. I can't go in because I can't spend money, but I just want to, be here because it makes me feel better.
And again, over dramatic, absolutely. Upset, I get it. But the bigger issue is grandparents, parents, they're all tapped out. Grandparents have been the fastest growing essential co-signer of these youngsters. They're going in there at 17. The cost is through the roof. The adding of administrators and freaking, we got restaurants and we've got, an ice cream parlor and we've got this giant fountain. And this isn't take away from the fact that, okay, you took out the loan. But at what point do we realize, okay, you're $90,000 in debt? There's another woman who, she got her doctorate in pharmaceutical. So she's a pharmacist. And she's like, I've been paying for 12 years. Never missed. Even during COVID and all this stuff. I paid. Never missed. Did my thing. And she still owes like 80 grand. She goes, I'm going to be paying on my student loans while my kids are in college. And I was talking to my buddy the other day. His wife's still paying on her student loans and their kid is out of college. What that does is reduces the spending power of the youth. They're not having kids. They're not dating. They're not reaching the milestones like home ownership and all of this kind of stuff. When people say, why does somebody like Mamdani in New York appeal to people, especially a younger group? It's because they felt like they were fed a whole bunch of shit about how great everything was going to be if you just go do this, this, and this. And they did. And they've come out and they're looking around going, I got a job and a half and 8 roommates. This isn't what I signed up for. And that's life. You got to learn. You got to pay that stuff back. And remember, can't file bankruptcy. That shit's with you forever. So the frustration level through the roof. But for us, when we look at society and we wonder why, men and women aren't dating, hell, they can't afford to. And if you wonder why they're not reaching those milestones, they can't. And I got sucked in as I'm watching some of these people. And yeah, some of them are over dramatic, but some are just very honest going, this one lady, she's like, look, I don't expect anybody who didn't go to college. It's not fair that they should pay back my student loan, but the math don't math. And I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, I get it. But I'm watching some of these kids go, yeah, I pay $1,800 a month. And kids, they're in their 20s, early 30s. That's not really a kid, but they're paying $1,800, $2,200 a month. I'm like, you've come out of school with a mortgage. Now think about this too. Remember 2008? I'm not saying we're going to 2008, but 2008, they bundled all of those shitty mortgages, right, in the tranches, said they're A+ and handed them out. And people bought them and it was great. Well, when everything went to shit, what did the banks and everybody have? What was their recourse? Well, at least we got a house. At least we've got a property or something. Nothing with these. Nothing. There is nothing. You got nothing. What are you going to do? Go, we're coming and we're taking away your college experience. We're going to come and we're going to take away the diploma on your wall. So this is one of those things where it's not just that the left is where the young progressive girls are over there. They don't want to date the crazy right-wing men. There's a lot that goes into this stuff. And when I look at the future, I've told my son, who's 15, I said, dude, be smart. He's like, Dad, I don't want to go to college. I'm like, oh, thank God. But a lot of his friends feel that way. And then you see a lot of other people are pushing their kids. And if you get a scholarship, you get all that stuff, great. But for a lot of kids, they don't. And even if they don't have to pay but a quarter of it with the living and the doing that, next thing you know, you come out and you got freaking credit card debt because it was free and they're handing it out on campus. And they've got, you've bought food and you've done all these kind of things. And you've taken out all these loans and you look up and you think, you still got 50 grand for your 4 years. And that's only going to add up. Something to think about, no doubt about that. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You guys have a great night. Appreciate you hanging out with me for a little bit. We'll be back probably Sunday. We're going to try some new. We're going to look ahead to the week on Sunday. But tomorrow, 6 to 9 Pacific, 9 till noon on the East Coast. Like and subscribe wherever you are. If you guys have a chance, you're not watching on YouTube, go over to my YouTube and subscribe there. We appreciate it.